Have you ever wondered why your legs feel weaker every year, even when your doctor says everything looks normal? I've seen men and women in their 50s, 60s and 70s lose strength not because of disease, but because of something far more silent the way they stopped moving. It's terrifying to realise that one day you can climb the stairs with confidence, and a few years later you need the handrail just to stand steady. I've watched this happen thousands of times in my clinic, and each time it begins the same way, with fear, hesitation, and the quiet surrender of independence. But here's what most people never learn. Aging itself isn't what steals your strength. It's how you move that decides how you age. In Japan, where people live longer and stay mobile into their 90s, and even past 100, I discovered a daily movement ritual practiced on simple floors, not in gyms. No machines, no weights, no pills, just pure human design remembered. Today I'll share how those 6 quiet movements can rebuild your legs, restore your balance, and return the freedom you thought age had taken away. I've treated hundreds of patients who believed weakness was just the price of getting older. They told me, "Doc, my legs just don't listen anymore." But that isn't aging, it's amnesia of the body. When we stop asking our muscles to move the way they were designed to, they forget. Every year of sitting too long, bending less, and avoiding the floor slowly erases the memory of strength written into our DNA. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that adults over 50 lose up to 1% of muscle each year if they stay inactive. That might sound small, but after a decade, it's the difference between walking freely and needing help to stand. The danger isn't sudden injury, it's quiet erosion. In Japan, I saw the opposite. Elders in their 80s climb temple steps daily, not to test themselves, but to honour motion. They move because they believe movement itself is medicine. That belief is why their bodies obey them longer. So if strength can fade quietly, it can also return quietly. And that's where the first movement begins, simple, ancient and powerful. You might think it's a squat, but it's something older than the gym itself. When I first teach this stance, people laugh. That looks like something from sumo wrestling, they say. But I tell them this isn't about fighting. It's about remembering how to stand your ground again. After 50, most people lose not just muscle but connection, the quiet link between feet, hips and confidence. Shikodachi rebuilds that link from the floor up. Here's how it works. Stand with your feet a little wider than your shoulders, toes turned slightly outward, knees bent like you're about to sit down between your legs. Your chest stays lifted, your back neutral. Don't drop too low. Even a few inches of bend wakes up muscles that haven't fired in years. Studies from the University of Tokyo found that holding this position for just 30 seconds activates more muscle fibers in the thighs and glutes than traditional squats with far less joint stress. As the seconds pass, your thighs tremble. That trembling isn't weakness. It's your nervous system reconnecting your body, rebooting forgotten pathways. Within a week, you'll notice daily tasks, climbing stairs, standing from a chair, feel easier. That's the real reward function, not fitness. Most people think strength starts in the gym, but real strength starts when you teach your body to trust the ground again. Balance isn't built in motion, it begins in stillness. And that's exactly what the next movement reveals. When I ask my patients to stand like a cat, they usually laugh until they try it. Then in a few seconds, their ankles wobble, their toes grip the floor, and suddenly they realize balance isn't a talent, it's a muscle memory that can be rebuilt. Nekowashi Dachi, or the cat foot stance, trains your body to live alert, again, not tense, just aware. Here's what you do. Keep one foot slightly in front of the other, your front heel lifted just an inch off the ground, almost weightless. The back leg carries most of your weight. As you breathe, you'll feel the tiny muscles in your feet and hips wake up, the same stabilizers that protect you when you stumble or turn quickly. Researchers at Osaka University found that practicing this stance for only 2 minutes a day improved balance and neuromuscular coordination in adults over 60 within 3 weeks. The key is not how long you hold it, but how focused you are while holding. Think of your body like a conversation between your brain and your feet. Every wobble is them learning to talk again. At first you'll shake. You might even curse under your breath. But that's good. That's your nervous system rewriting its software. The more you practice, the steadier you stand and the fewer falls you'll fear. I often remind my patients you don't train balance to avoid falling. You train it so your body knows exactly what to do when you do fall. That's resilience. But standing tall means nothing if your spine forgets how to hold you. And that's what the next posture born in the quiet rooms of old Japan begins to restore. I remember the first time I watched an 85-year-old Japanese woman ease herself into Caesar, the traditional way of sitting on the floor. She moved like flowing water, her spine perfectly upright, her breathing calm. It wasn't strength that impressed me, it was alignment. Every joint in her body seemed to know exactly where to be. That's what Caesar restores harmony between the spine, hips and core. In the West, we treat sitting as rest, but in Japan, sitting is training. Caesar looks simple. You kneel, sit back so your hips rest gently on your heels, and keep your spine long and eyes forward. But beneath that calm is deep engagement. Your hip flexors stretch your core, stabilizes, and your breathing slows. Studies from Kyoto University found that this posture activates the transverse abdominis and spinal erectors, the same deep core muscles most people chase through endless crunches. At first you might feel stiffness in your knees or ankles. That's fine. Place a folded blanket or cushion between your hips and heels. What matters is awareness. Each time you sit this way, you teach your spine to carry you again, not slump you forward. After 2 weeks, most people notice their back pain fading, their chest opening, their breath deepening. You'll start standing taller without thinking about it. And that's the secret. Seiza doesn't just change posture, it changes presence. When your body aligns, your mind follows. But presence doesn't end with posture. True control begins when stillness itself becomes strength. That's what the next movement Seizen will teach you. When people hear the word meditation, they imagine doing nothing. But in Zazen, the seated meditation of Japan, doing nothing is the hardest work of all. I learned this the first time I joined a group of elders in a Zen temple outside Kyoto. They were in their 70s, some in their 80s, sitting cross-legged on thin mats, backs upright, faces serene. For 40 minutes, not a single one shifted. When the bell rang, they stood up easily. No groans, no struggle. That's when I realized Zazen isn't about escaping the body. It's about mastering it. Sit cross-legged on a cushion. If your hips are tight, sit on the edge of a chair and let your feet rest flat. Keep your spine tall, chin slightly tucked and eyes soft. Breathe slowly. The goal isn't perfect stillness, it's balanced stillness. The muscles that hold you here, the multifidus, the deep spinal stabilizers, are small but powerful. Research from Kobe University shows that regular zazen increases activation in these muscles while calming the parasympathetic nervous system, improving not just posture, but blood pressure and mood. In my clinic, I often see patients chase peace with pills and gadgets, but forget the simplest truth: calm is a posture too. When your spine aligns and your breath slows, your body tells your brain you're safe. That's when real healing starts. At first, 5 minutes might feel endless. You'll fidget, your legs will ache, your mind will wander. But every time you return to your breath, you build the quiet muscle of awareness. Over weeks, your breathing deepens, your digestion improves, your anxiety fades. You stop reacting and start responding. Zazen is strength in silence, a reminder that stillness isn't the absence of movement, but the mastery of it. Yet strength alone isn't enough. Life demands motion, direction, and power in every step. That's where the next stance, born from the discipline of martial arts, turns stillness into movement. The horse, stance, or kibadachi. I once watched an old kendo instructor, 90 years old, drop into kibadachi as if gravity itself respected him. His knees bent outward, his hips sank low, and his spine stayed upright like a bamboo stalk. He held the position for nearly 2 minutes, breathing steadily, unshaken. That image never left me because kibadachi teaches something most people lose. After 60 lateral strength, the ability to control motion, side to side, not just up and down. Start by standing with your feet wide, roughly twice, shoulder width, and point your toes slightly outward. Lower your hips as if sitting on an invisible horse, keeping your spine neutral and chest lifted. Feel the weight spread evenly through your feet. This position fires the glutes, the inner thighs, and the deep hip muscles that stabilize every step you take. A study from Tokyo Metropolitan Geriatric Hospital found that isometric stances like kibadachi improve blood flow to the legs by nearly 20% and strengthen proprioception, the body's awareness of where it is in space. You'll feel your thighs burn and your core tighten. Don't fight it, breathe into it. Each breath is a message to your nervous system: I can hold this. Within weeks, your hips loosen, your steps feel steadier, and even turning quickly becomes effortless. This is not exercise for vanity, this is training for survival, the kind that keeps you walking confidently across uneven ground, the kind that lets you carry groceries or dance or catch yourself before a fall. In Japan, elders call it the stance of life, because in holding still you learn control, and in control you rediscover freedom. Most people chase balance by standing still. Kibadachi shows you balance through resistance, the harmony between tension and ease. It's not a pose you master once, it's a practice you return to forever. And once your body remembers strength, balance, posture and control, there's only one question left: how do you keep it all alive, every single day? The final ritual brings everything together, not in motion, but in the quiet power of consistency. Every lesson I've shared leads to this moment, the point where strength becomes a rhythm, not an effort. In Japan, elders don't schedule exercise. They weave movement into life itself. Morning and evening, a few minutes of focused motion keeps their legs young and their spirits grounded. What we call training, they simply call living well. Here's how the practice unfolds. Each morning, I start with Seiza and Zazen, 3 slow breaths in Seiza to open the hips, 5 minutes of Zazen to anchor the mind. This wakes the nervous system gently like sunrise through paper walls, Then I rise into Nikawashi Dachi, shifting my weight from heel to toe, reminding my brain that balance begins in awareness. By the time I reach Shikodachi, my blood flows, my joints are awake, and my legs hum with quiet strength. At night, I return to Kibadachi, and the walls squat 2 static holds that rebuild what the day has worn down. 30 seconds at first, then a minute, then 2. That's all it takes. Research from the American Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy shows that isometric holds performed twice daily for 4 weeks increase leg strength by nearly 30% in adults over 60. But numbers aren't what keep you moving results do. Within days, sleep deepens, circulation improves, and stairs stop feeling like mountains. Still, what amazes me most isn't the physical change, it's what happens in the mind. When people regain balance, they regain trust in their body, in life itself. They move not to fight time, but to walk beside it. And that mindset, that quiet daily discipline, is the difference between growing old and growing alive. So if you're wondering where to start small. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 at night. No rush, no strain. Just a promise to yourself to move with awareness, to breathe with purpose, to live with intention. Because when movement becomes memory again, aging becomes evolution. And that's why the story doesn't end here. Because what you've just learned isn't just a routine, it's a return. Every journey towards strength begins with a single promise to never stop moving. You've now seen how 6 simple Japanese movements can restore balance, rebuild power, and remind your body what it was always designed to do, support you for life. These aren't workouts, they're whispers from your body saying, I'm still here. Whether you start with 30 seconds or 3 minutes, what matters most is that you start today. Remember, consistency beats intensity. 5 minutes of mindful movement each morning can do more for your independence than an hour of pushing through pain. Your body doesn't need perfection, it needs participation. Each breath, each stance, each moment of awareness is an investment in your future self. If this message spoke to you, save this video as your reminder to move again tomorrow. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the latest medical insights and natural ways to care for your health. Leave a comment below and tell me which movement you'll begin with, because every time you share, someone else finds the courage to start. Take care of your body and it will return the favor. You're not too old to begin, you're right on time.